What's up, friends? Welcome into another episode of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. So happy to have you all aboard for this episode. I'm your host, TB. I cannot thank you enough for stopping in and checking out the 3Ts. Can you believe it? This is episode 23. 23! They said we couldn't make it to 10, and we have blown the doors off of that one. So here we go. We have a lot to get to. Let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. Wrestling Marks, how the heck are we feeling? Now, normally, sometimes I come on here and I talk about what's going on with Raw and with SmackDown. Well, if you've watched Raw and if you've watched SmackDown the last couple weeks, it's kind of been a little bit dull. So what I figured we would do today is just dive straight ahead to the upcoming pay-per-view that's coming up. What is it? Next Saturday. This will be coming at you October 11th, straight from Australia. That's right. We are talking about Crown Jewel. Takes place Saturday morning, bright and early. Hope you get your coffee pots ready and turned on because this show will be starting nice and early at 8 a.m. I don't know how you all like your wrestling with your breakfast. I know that there's a huge time difference, but this is the first time Crown Jewel has taken place outside of my favorite place, Saudi Arabia. You know how much I love to talk about the Saudi shows. Well, this is the first Crown Jewel that's being held in another country. This is taking place in Perth, Australia. So here we go. Right now, there's not too many matches on the card. Only 4 matches on the card so far. The build-up for this has been a little weird, if you ask me. I'm going to start off by talking about the singles match for the WWE Women's Crown Jewel Championship. This is going to be between brand new Raw Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton. Now, if you've checked out SmackDown recently, you've seen the absolute debacle that was the triple threat match between Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, and Jade Cargill. 2 things that were huge that happened in this match. If you haven't seen the Jade Cargill injury to her face when Nia threw her into the corner of the ring stairs, this is one of the most gruesome facial cuts I've ever seen. I mean, it is nasty. Who's at the hand of it? Once again, everyone's favorite female wrestler, Nia Jax. It seems like when there's a major injury or a major botch or something, Nia Jax is usually right around the corner. I'm going to talk about this in a future podcast about the history of Becky Lynch. And well, Nia Jax was huge in transitioning Becky Lynch officially into the man when she cold-cocked her straight in the nose, broke her nose open, and she was bleeding all over. It was an iconic moment, and it kind of, catapulted Becky Lynch into the next stratosphere. But that was a botch. That wasn't supposed to happen. Nia Jax, now a lot of people say she doesn't know how to take care of her opponents. The wrestlers are supposed to take care of themselves and each other and make sure that everyone is safe. Well, if you watch this triple threat match, she chucks Jade Cargill into the ring post, or into the ring stairs rather, and she sustains a nasty, nasty cut over her eye. It was bad. She was bleeding all over the place. And then to make matters worse, they go on to have one of the worst botched endings that you'll ever see. And of course, this caused a lot of controversy in the wrestling community. Everyone was up in arms. How could this happen? Fire the ref, fire this person. I'm like, all right, take it easy. Let's just take a deep breath. Mistakes happen, but who's really to blame? Nia was supposed to kick out because the finish wasn't happening yet, and she just laid there. And the ref didn't count to 3. She moved her arm at the last second, and nobody kicks out, and it just looked terrible. And anyway, Tiffany goes on to win the match. It was bad. It was bad all around. I just don't think the last few weeks of Raw and SmackDown shows have been great. But here we go. The point of these Crown Jewels is to have your champions go up against each other. And we have the brand new Raw Women's Champion, Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton, who's the SmackDown Champion. This should be a good match. You never know what's going to happen, whether they're actually going to allow somebody to become victorious in the matter. But I would say that if I were a betting man, I'm going to put my money on Stephanie Vaquer to win this one. And then on the men's side, for the WWE Crown Jewel Men's Championship, we have Cody Rhodes, your SmackDown Undisputed WWE Champion, versus Division's leader, Seth Rollins, who is Raw's World Heavyweight Champion. Now, the lead up to this match has been surprisingly good. They have cut some great promos, in my opinion, on the last few shows. It's been awesome. I've appreciated the mic work. These 2 guys in the ring, on the mic, it's about as good as it's going to get. And so I applaud them both. It's got to be hard, right? Crown Jewel is essentially a throwaway pay-per-view because really nothing long term is going to happen. You have these kind of one-offs where you're champion, it's champion versus champion, and you're not really telling a long-term story. So we've seen Cody versus Seth before. Obviously, Seth is 0-3 against Cody. We've seen when Cody first came back, these two had a trifecta of matches, and Cody won every one of them. So right there, I think Seth has to win this match. You can't keep having him lose to Cody Rhodes. You can't keep making Cody look absolutely unbeatable, and you don't want to turn him into the Super Cena version of Cody. It's just not good. I don't think it's good for anybody. And frankly, I think Seth is doing some of his best work. You have to have him win this, whether that's by shenanigans from the Braun and Braun legal team, whether it's Paul Heyman getting involved, whatever the case may be. I'm sure there's going to be some involvement in one way, shape, or form with this match. In my opinion, Seth has to win this match. Who else is on the card currently? We have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. This match has been slowly building for the last couple weeks, with Io and her friendship with Asuka and Kairi kind of in the background, getting manipulated and controlled by Asuka. I think everyone is really, doing their best to make this storyline meaningful. It's nice to see Rhea outside of the title picture. I mean, I know she's one of the greatest women on the roster, but you can't have her in a champion storyline each and every week. It's kind of ridiculous. So I like the fact that these two, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, are joining up. It should be a good match. It should really be a good match. I like all four of these women. They're really doing good work. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but if I'm a betting man, I'm going with the Kabuki Warriors because I think they need to continue their dominance, and maybe we see a turn of Io. That would be cool. I don't know what that would look like, but I've told you all time and again, Io's one of my favorites, men or women. I think she's awesome, and maybe we see a faction with the Kabuki Warriors and Io joining as a heel. Who knows? And then the fourth and final match that's listed on this, and this is kind of going to lead into what I want to talk about on the wrestling side of this podcast, but we have John Cena versus AJ Styles. Now, John Cena is coming off the absolute butt kicking he received at the hands of Brock Lesnar at the last show, WrestlePalooza, the first ESPN PLE, and everyone kind of was disgusted by the outcome of that match. And my thoughts on that again, and I've had some more time to think, what did we think was going to happen? Did we really think Cena was going to come back and fight Brock Lesnar, who looks bigger and stronger and faster than ever, and actually be victorious over this beast, this just ginormous, larger-than-life creature that just comes in like a wrecking ball and just destroys everyone? Did we really think Cena had a chance to beat him? I mean, that wouldn't be very realistic at all. Anyway, he gets absolutely destroyed. People are up in arms, and we're all left wondering, well, where do we go next? And now you have this show, this Crown Jewel show from Australia. Cena instantly got on the socials and was like, I want to fight AJ Styles. No backstory, no nothing. Obviously, these two guys have had matches in the past, and they've been pretty good matches. And then AJ gets on his socials, and he's like, yeah, I'm down for that. And then lo and behold, here comes Triple H, and he makes the match official. This leads up to this singles match, and we don't have much time left for Cena. This just kind of came out of nowhere. He gets destroyed by Lesnar, and then all of a sudden he's changing his sights and putting his sights on AJ Styles. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but those are the only 4 matches on the card so far. And it's crazy because where's Becky Lynch? She just came off of this awesome tag team with her husband and AJ Lee and CM Punk, this mixed couples match. And y'all know how I felt about that. I thought it was amazing, but she's not on the card. Maybe they add some this week. Now, I'm recording this on Sunday. We still have Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown ahead of us, so maybe they add a match or two to the card. Usually they try to get 5, maybe 6 matches total. That they're really trimming down the size of these PLEs, but as of now, only 4 matches, with that last one being the John Cena AJ Styles match. I would think after that butt kicking he took against Lesnar that Cena has to win this match, but we shall see. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to look at the John Cena retirement tour so far. I kind of wanted to go back to the beginning. I wanted to kind of break it all down and see what we're thinking. How are we feeling, wrestling marks, about his retirement tour? So if you remember, this started way back at the beginning of the year with the Royal Rumble. This This took place on February 1st, and John Cena was an entrant in the men's Royal Rumble match, and he was one of the last two. It came down to Jey Uso and John Cena, and everyone thought if you were kind of playing this out, knowing it was his retirement tour and he was kind of kicking it off and he needed a marquee match for WrestleMania, everyone thought that this was going to be a paint-by-numbers road to WrestleMania for Cena, but Jey Uso kind of shocked the whole world and ended up eliminating Cena and guaranteeing a main event match at the Showcase of the Immortals. But if you remember, so Cena loses, gets eliminated by Jey Uso, and then if you remember post-show, Cena does this post-match interview, and it was kind of weird, right? He declares himself an entrant into the Elimination Chamber match. He basically lays it all out there. He says that because of everything he's done for the business, he's going to be selfish and he's going to automatically put himself into a spot in this Elimination Chamber match. It was simple. I actually kind of loved it, and I love that we knew we didn't have to waste time with him wasting matches on qualifying for the chamber and all this stuff. I loved it. So he kind of puts himself into the match, and nobody says anything about it. So fast forward to March 1st, we have the Elimination Chamber. Now, this was supposed to be WWE's game changer. If you remember this, the chamber match, the men's Elimination Chamber match, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, and ultimately came down to John Cena versus CM Punk at the end of this chamber match. 2 left. Cena gets the win. He punches his ticket to a title match at WrestleMania. However, the show was far from over. This was one of the craziest things I've ever seen as a wrestling fan. We had the whole Cody Rhodes versus the final boss, The Rock, the storyline where The Rock comes out and does this stupid, crazy, long rambling promo encouraging Cody to sell his soul, and the whole thing, everyone's just like, what the heck are you freaking talking about? It made no sense. And he's like, well, I'm going to show up at Elimination Chamber, which was, I believe, in Toronto. I'm going to show up and I'm going to want your answer. Cody, you need to give me your soul. So here comes the end of the show. Cena had already won. Cody Rhodes comes out to the ring to address The Rock. Cena's kind of hanging out, and here comes The Rock. Cody and The Rock kind of go back and forth, and he eventually tells The Rock to F off. And then, in probably what is the greatest heel turn since Hulk Hogan, Cena, as he's embracing Cody, he's jumping around like a little kid after Cody tells The Rock to F off. You see Cena in the back going, oh my God, that's amazing. And they embrace. And then all of a sudden, as they're hugging, The Rock and Cena kind of have this interaction. The Rock nods, Cena gets the nod, and The Rock does this throat slash motion. And while he's embracing Cody, he kind of pushes him, kicks him in with the low blow, and then proceeds to beat the ever-loving piss out of him. And this paves the way for heel John Cena versus babyface Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the title. Everyone was expecting it was going to be babyface versus babyface, but this was the heel turn that kind of shocked the world. I remember jumping off my sofa and screaming at the top of my lungs, they finally did it. They finally did it. It only took 20 years. It was an awesome, awesome moment. I mean, I don't care who you are. This moment in time as a wrestling fan was awesome. It was awesome. So fast forward to April 20th, we have WrestleMania 41. After a month of heel promos where Cena comes out, he blames the universe, he blames all the fans. He's basically saying that you're the reason I've had to do this. I'm sick and tired of putting myself out there. You've given me nothing in return. It's been promo after promo of all this stuff. And so there's this huge workup to this match between Cody and Cena. And Cody is basically telling him the whole time he doesn't want this version of Cena. He wants the old Cena. He wants the whole thing. Well, then this match takes place. And first of all, WrestleMania 41 was kind of a big letdown. And if I'm being honest, this match was terrible. This match was just brutal. It was slow. It was boring. There was no juice going on. Like, there was nothing in this match. It was slow plotting. Like, oh my God, it was just brutal. You want to talk about dogging the WWE universe. It was bad. It was bad. And unfortunately, it involved Travis Scott, and he comes down, they hit his stupid music, and he's plodding to the ring in one of the slowest ring walks of all time. And then he gets involved, and everyone's beating Cody's ass at the end, and it was stupid. It was terrible. If I had to rank these matches, which I probably will do when the whole retirement tour is all done and over, this was probably going to be the worst. And it was even worse than WrestlePalooza, the Brock Lesnar match, which we'll get to in a second here. But I mean, this was just awful. Cena ends up winning. He wins his 17th title, which, currently it's the most ever. And we're all left going, what the hell did we just watch? That was bad. So that fiasco was over. And then he goes on to challenge Randy Orton. Backlash, May 10th. And this was nothing to write home about. You get shenanigans by R-Truth. He gets involved. There's, what's soon to become a running gag through this whole retirement tour is John Cena hitting everyone with the belt. There's ref nonsense. It was just, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Cena ends up hitting Orton with the belt. He gets the 1, 2, 3. It was nothing special. There was nothing really amazing about this match. It was kind of frustrating. This match with Orton and R-Truth's involvement gets us to his next match on the retirement tour, which is 2 weeks later, May 24th, Saturday night's main event. We have R-Truth versus John Cena. This match was fine considering what it was. R-Truth gets a fun entrance. He comes out as Ron Cena. He's wearing all his gear. He's mimicking Cena's moves in the ring. But ultimately, we're talking about a squash match. This is over in less than 5 minutes, and Cena gets the easy win. It's nothing. Next up on the list, we have Money in the Bank, June 7th. Cena teams up with Logan Paul, of all people. He teams up with Logan Paul to take on Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. We see Cena use the belt once again to take out Rhodes, and then a mysterious hooded figure jumps in the ring and takes Cena out, and he actually uses Cena's championship belt to knock him out. And it's none other than the hooded figure who is R-Truth. And this allows Cody to get the pin for the win, and whatever. It was fine. I just remember going, oh, God, here we go. This is a stretch from WrestleMania to Backlash to Saturday night's main event to Money in the Bank. It was just like, what are we doing? And you really are questioning the whole heel turn. And then this leads us less than 2 weeks later, June 20th, we have Friday Night SmackDown. He gets a rematch with R-Truth, but gets disqualified because he hits him again with the belt. Is anyone seeing a theme here so far? And this is what's getting frustrating. Watching it as a fan, you were looking forward to this heel run so much, and now he's just doing... I know what heels do. They're bad and they do terrible things, but it's just like, it's not even entertaining. It's just boring. And so him using the belt and just constantly hitting people with it, and it's like the belt is doing more work than Cena is at this stretch of the tour. And it's just kind of frustrating. But what is it? 5-match stretch from WrestleMania to Friday Night SmackDown just sucks. It sucks. And it's very disappointing, and you hope things are going to slowly turn around. And they do, because Night of Champions, June 28th, this is where things start to pick up. He has a banger of a match against CM Punk. There's a lot riding on this match, given their history together, and they pulled off a very good match. Now, mind you, there are a lot of shenanigans going on. There's refs getting knocked out, Braun and Braun legal teams coming out, Seth Rollins attempts to cash in on champion John Cena in one of the greatest spots of all time. Ref Charles Robinson is literally flying down the ramp to come in to, the other ref had just gotten taken out. And as he's running down to initiate Seth Rollins' cash in, you see John Cena come flying around the floor of the ramp and takes Charles Robinson out. Charles Robinson goes flying through the air. It's actually awesome because they made a Tops Now card out of it. It's fan-freaking-tastic. But he hits Charles Robinson with a hip check and goes flying. It was just a ton of fun. This match was great. It was definitely needed after the last 5 awful nonsense matches that they put on. Cena ultimately keeps his belt. He retains thanks to Rollins knocking out CM Punk with a briefcase. It was really good stuff. Really good stuff. So we're slowly starting to turn it around. And this leads right into SummerSlam. So just over a month later, SummerSlam takes place on August 3rd. One of the coolest entrances. So during the heel run, Cena had been using a total black background with white letters that just simply said John Cena. And it would just be the only thing that would show up on the Titantron on the entrance as he would come down to the ring. And he would kind of basically doing a whole, screw you to all the people that have supported me and the colors and all this vibrancy and all that. So he's basically like, I'm not doing anything for the fans. Well, during SummerSlam, up to this match, and the promos leading up to this match, Cena had started to see the error of his ways, and he was kind of regretting his whole heel turn. So you were starting to slowly see signs of the old babyface John Cena. So when he comes out, the music hits. It's the black and white. You get the black background, the white John Cena letters, and then boom, pops, and the music kicks in, and it's the old school, multi-layered, multicolored John Cena logos of old, and it was awesome. So you switched from the black and white to the color scheme. It was cool. I love the way that they have been incorporating that for every one of his matches. And this was a really good match. This was a street fight. These two go at it for about 30 minutes. And he's fighting Cody Rhodes. By the way, I forgot to tell you that. Championship match. Championship belt is on the line. These two go at it. 30 minutes street fight. They put on a show. Cena starts digging deep into his bag of tricks. He pulls out a ton of old school awesome. When Cena was really doing banger after banger, shout out to Sheamus, when he was doing these banger of actual wrestling matches, he would pull out all these crazy moves. Well, you got a little of it in this match. It was very well done. Very well done. Cody Rhodes wins the belt back. They give each other praise. They're kind of, congratulating each other in the ring. Cody leaves to allow Cena a moment to kind of celebrate with the crowd and thank the crowd. And everyone's having a great time. And then, boom, the shock of the freaking night. You hear the music of none other than Brock Lesnar. He looks like an absolute monster truck. He comes down, comes into the ring, returns F5 Cena in the middle of the ring. Everyone is suddenly in total disbelief. Cannot believe it. I was shocked to see that the WWE would bring Brock Lesnar back. But he comes back, hits him with the F5, leaves Cena in the middle of the ring, and just jets. And then everyone's like, holy crap, what did we just see? Yeah, that was awesome. Great match. So now things are really starting to pick up. And then we get to probably what is my favorite match of the retirement tour thus far. It's Clash in Paris. Y'all know I really like this show. September 1st, Clash in Paris, France, against none other than Logan Paul. These two put on a freaking show. It was awesome. I give Paul a ton of credit. He did not look out of place at all. Sometimes some of these matches, some of these younger wrestlers can kind of, fade into the moment, if you will. And I really thought that he held his own and he looked like a superstar out there. And Cena, helped him to look great. He didn't look out of place at all. Cena at one point busts out the Styles Clash, which was, we're gonna see that moving forward. It's a shout out to AJ. These two trade some great moves, some great back and forth. He ultimately wins after some attitude adjustments, some counters in the middle of the ring. Outstanding work. Great job. This was my favorite match. A few days later, we have September 5th, which is a Friday Night SmackDown. U.S. champion Sami Zayn comes down to interrupt a promo. And in, U.S. title fashion, he wants to give Cena his props and basically say, hey, you did this. You were U.S. champion for a long time. You ran these U.S. Open challenges, and I want to give you an opportunity to have a match with me. And these two put on a great show. They went at it. It was a really good match. When Cena's given the chance to actually perform, and it's away from his quote-unquote 5 moves of doom, the matches are great. So anyone saying Cena can't wrestle, that's just not true. Historically, it's not true. He can wrestle when the match allows for it and when it calls for it. And you put him up with guys that can actually go in the ring. And Sami Zayn, this was great. Ultimately, we are spoiled to the finish when we get interference by none other than Brock Lesnar. It's more F5s for everyone, and it's kind of disappointing that we weren't able to see a actual solution and actual victor to this match. But this is what leads us to WrestlePalooza, September 20th. After Lesnar's multiple F5s to everyone over the past, month and a half, we finally get Cena versus Lesnar on the card to WrestlePalooza. This takes place in Indianapolis, and this match is the first match on this ESPN brand new debut PLE. This match kicks off the show, and it was something, right? It was something. If you remember my recap of this WrestlePalooza, right before the match starts, I was commenting to my wife that the last time, the match I remember between these two the most was the SummerSlam fiasco where Brock Lesnar just kicked the crap out of Cena for 10 minutes, and this is exactly what we got for WrestlePalooza. This was a rinse and repeat version of that SummerSlam match, and Lesnar just beat the brakes off of Cena for, 10 minutes? Cena got in 2 offensive moves, and Lesnar just absolutely destroyed him. The whole highlight of this entire match was John Cena's entrance with all the mini Cenas, if you will. He comes out in the spectacular colors. I think it was yellow at the time, and probably 30, 35, 40 kids are on the entrance ramp with him doing the You Can't See Me and running around with jorts galore. And so everyone's going crazy. It was really cool. And then 8 minutes later, you pan to some of these same kids in the crowd, and they're all in tears because Cena just got destroyed by Lesnar. So many people were not too happy about this one. But as I just said at the beginning of this podcast, what were we all expecting? This was crazy to think that Cena had a shot to beat this larger than life monster truck of a superstar. So yeah, I don't know. And it was crazy. It was crazy. I wasn't a huge fan of that entire show, but anyway, this kind of brings us up to present day. And next on his retirement tour is the match I just talked about, the AJ Styles Crown Jewel match, Perth, Australia, this Saturday, October 11th. And the build up for this, like I said, it's been non-existent because Cena essentially asked for this match over social media. AJ agrees to it, and then Triple H just gives his nod of approval. And I'm like, this is weird. You know, you have 2 months left, and this is how you're building a match. So it's just very strange. I know these two have had a history. These two have had some really good matches before, and it should be a solid match, but we have to ask, what is the point of this? What is the point of this? There's not many dates left on this tour. Why are we doing this match so close to the end? They just announced last week, that Cena's last match is going to take place in Washington, D.C. on December 13th. That's right. It's going to be a Saturday night main event. We don't know who his opponent is going to be. We don't know anything leading up to that other than DC, December 13th. And from what I'm hearing, tickets are going to be crazy expensive. But like, what is the point of this AJ match? Are we just kind of checking people that he's had feuds with off this list, and then he's going to ride off into the sunset? I don't know. Some of this final run has been kind of all over the place. I, along with many others, were super, super excited to finally get the heel turn, but it just never really got off the ground. It never got steam. I just don't think the story was well thought out with his promos and the way the matches were set up. The Rock involvement before Elimination Chamber leading up to the turn, it kind of went nowhere. The promos didn't work. The matches, for the most part, with Cena as a heel were kind of a disaster. And it's nice that he's been playing the hits with some of these opponents, but how are we wrapping this whole thing up with only 2 months to go and not many appearances left for him to make? I don't know where we go. I mean, we are just about 2 months to the end, and it's kind of sad. I, for one, am going to try to get tickets to this show, but we shall see. I would love to be there for the final match. I would love to be there to give him a proper send-off. He has been great. And so that was kind of a quick review thus far of the whole retirement tour. I would love to know what you all have thought of it. There's been some highs. There's definitely been some lows, many lows. But I think right now, if you take the whole thing in total, it's been right down the middle. Like, the first half of this was terrible, but he's rebounded nicely outside of the Brock Lesnar squash, which many of us have still not gotten over. He's got a couple matches left. I really hope we see some good stuff. I'd be interested to see if he goes after a brand new opponent, someone that he's looking to put over on his way out the door, or if we get another blast from the past. I know Edge has been talked about for the longest time, but those rumors have kind of been refuted. And Edge, in my opinion, is his greatest rival. Those two had a awesome back and forth back in the day. I would love to see it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. But we shall see how this is going to play out moving forward. Anyway, let's move on to the cardboard section of the program. Hobby enthusiasts, how are we feeling? It has been a crazy busy time for Topps and for everything going on with the Topps company. There have been so many things going on. So many products have been released. Topps Disney Chrome hit the market, and I have been watching people rip this product open. The prices, we could talk about the prices. You know how I love to complain about the prices. The prices are through the freaking roof. And the so-called value packs and blaster boxes are, $50? And the mega boxes and such are $80, $90. And the hobby boxes, we were at Dave & Adams in New York City a few days ago, and I'm walking through and I'm reading the prices of the hobby boxes of this stuff. The price for a Disney Chrome hobby box at Dave & Adams in New York City was $530. $530. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Now, I have seen a lot of the breaks. I have watched some of the YouTube videos of people opening this stuff. And I got to admit, some of the cards are really cool. Some of the one-of-ones people are hitting. The product is great, but the price point is just madness to me. So I am kind of partial to some of the Muppets cards. I will be honest. I would love to get me a animal Muppets card, maybe a Kermit, Miss Piggy. Yeah, so I love the way those cards look. Probably going to be sticking to the singles because there's no chance I'm going to be diving in to spend that kind of cash on opening and ripping some on my own. But what else? SpongeBob hit the market, and I got to tell you, I I might have fear of missing out on this one. A little FOMO going on for this set. Again, the prices are off the chain. Blasters, you can buy blasters. I know Topps, as of yesterday, still had SpongeBob blaster boxes on sale on their, well, not on sale, they're just for sale on the actual Topps website. And they're running at $40. $40. So what do you get for $40? You get 7 packs of 4 cards each. So 28 cards, $40. How are we feeling about that? Now, I will tell you, I was a huge fan of SpongeBob when my kids were young. That's all we watched. We watched SpongeBob so much. And you learn to love some of the characters, some of the jokes. And so I'm watching some of these openings, and I was laughing hysterically with some of the things that they put on these cards. There's one that I actually am going to try to grab, even if it's just a single. There's one where Patrick, if you remember when they're putting the band together and they have this huge production. Anyway, he goes, is mayonnaise an instrument? And I need to get that card. I couldn't believe some of the stuff they're putting on there, but some of the inserts are awesome. Some of the portrait cards, and people are pulling sketch cards out of this product, and it's coming from blaster boxes. So I don't know. Maybe I'll buy a box or two and see what happens. I've been going back and forth. I've been eyeing it up. I even put a blaster box or two in the cart, but I haven't been able to pull the trigger because, let's be honest, $40 for 28 cards is a lot of money. But they do look awesome. We shall see. I'm going to keep watching videos and see what happens. What else is going on? Topps Update Baseball 2025. Topps Update Baseball. They released the pre-sale. And yeah, folks, guess what? Your boy actually jumped in onto this one, jumped back in with this one. I was all in on Series 1. And then Series 2 came out, and I kind of didn't buy a single box. Series 2, the checklist looked whack, and I wasn't going to invest in it. Topps Chrome came out. Topps Chrome Baseball was probably one of the worst products, and it was so overpriced, and I didn't get involved in that either. Now Topps Update came out, and I got to tell you, some of the stuff they got going on for Topps Update looks pretty cool. The golden mirror cards, what they're doing now, the golden mirrors, there's like a SSP image variation on some of these base cards, and they're super hard to hit. But what they do now, what they're adding is an autographed golden mirror card. And these cards are awesome because instead of your typical white or clear label at the bottom, they put a black label, and then the player is signing in gold ink, and they look fire. So a gold back, the back of these golden mirror cards is all done in gold, and then the front, almost like a chalkboard look, the signature is done in gold ink, and I think these look fire. So they came on sale. Hobby boxes were going for $89.99, and jumbo hobbies, which I've never bought in my life, they were retailing for $189.99. I had a bunch of Fanatics cash, and I slapped that bad boy on there, and your boy TB is going to be ripping a jumbo hobby for the first time in ever. So I'm super excited. I love the way some of these cards look. I will probably get skunked, but we shall see what happens. Yes, there's a long list of rookies. Now, in Update, they usually add in a ton of the rookie debut cards, which I do like. The chase right now is Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz is fire. He's been an absolute beast of a rookie playing for Oakland. I would love to track down one of the GPK Nick Kurtz cards from the Bowman Chrome, but these things are selling for crazy money. Yeah, Nick Kurtz is clearly the chase in this product. The inserts look great. I'm super excited. I think this product is going to come out at the end of October, and we shall see what happens. But Topps, they just keep coming out with stuff because they got the license back for the NBA, and they just announced that their NBA product, they did a pre-sale on this as well. NBA fans, if you also collect baseball, these cards should look extremely familiar to you because what they did, they took the exact styling that they used for Topps flagship baseball this year. So Series 1, Series 2, and Update, they're using the exact same look for the NBA product. Now, I believe the last time they had the license for the NBA was like 2007, 2009, something like that. So it's been quite some time. It's been at least 15 years. But Topps has got the NBA licensing back, so now they are able to put the actual team names and logos on the cards, because some of the old NBA products that Topps has put out with the non-licensed, they look terrible. So I know a lot of people are excited. It's a pretty good entry point into the product for those who don't want to drop $400-$600 on a hobby box. I believe they were pretty comparable to the Topps Update Baseball, and the hobby boxes were right around $90 to $100, which is a relatively consistent price, and it's what we've seen for flagship baseball products thus far. So yeah, I know this is coming out soon, and there's a lot of excitement to go into it. But what I wanted to end this portion of the program talking about was the If Money Were No Object Buy of the Week, because I have found it something I am super excited to dive into, and I might be buying myself a box of this. This is none other than the 2025 Keepsake Michael Jackson Bad World Tour hobby box. That's right. This comes out. They just dropped this. This comes out in December. It's a set that focuses on the Bad World Tour of Michael Jackson. Now, if you know anything about me, I don't want to talk about the off the tour nonsense that was his life. That's not what I want to talk about. But my wife got me tickets to go see MJ on Broadway. It was one of the greatest experiences. Awesome show. I just love his music. Like, his music is great. And the Bad World Tour was just insane. So this set focuses on this tour from the King of Pop, and it's going to come out with cards and such to reflect different points of the tour. Now, they have some memorabilia and different things that they have put into these cards, and there's even a cut autograph. Obviously, he's not signing anymore, but they have cut autographs put into this set. There's 16 packs per box, 4 cards per pack. You are guaranteed 2 hits. Now, a hit could be anything from an autograph to a piece of memorabilia, but they have pieces of his belt. They have pieces of his gloves. There's going to be over 300 different cards to be found in this set, with base cards, parallels, inserts, memorabilia cards, and then that one-of-one cut autograph card. They've taken VIP passes, tickets, all kinds of things. It's really, really cool. I'm super excited for this. Yeah, the prices, I don't think the prices are crazy. If I remember correctly, they were right around like $60, $60 to $70 for a hobby box, which whatever. Some of these relics, like they have one called a silhouette relic, where they kind of put your VIP pass behind a picture of MJ as he's performing. It looks pretty sick. They have some die cut stuff that say King of Pop. It's crazy what they're doing. Will these be a smash? I don't know. They're kind of similar to the vein of the historic boxes that I've talked about with the Legends of the Past, with the pirates and the different themes in history. So it kind of goes in that realm. I'm super excited for this. And I think I'm going to be diving into a box of the 2025 Keepsake Michael Jackson Bad World Tour hobby box. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I will keep you all informed as we get closer to that release in December. But I think that's going to wrap up the card portion of the program. Now we have to talk about and turn our attention to the Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia, how the heck are we feeling? Well, I will tell you how I'm feeling. Number one, I am exhausted. Can we start with the night games? So it used to be that during the drought, we never had anything other than the typical 1 p.m. kickoffs. And we all kind of complained and moaned about that. Oh, why do we never get any national recognition? Well, that's because we suck. Well, now that we are one of the top teams in the NFL, the league wants to put us in all these national primetime spotlight games. And that's fine. But the flip side to that is you're going to be staying up way, way past your bedtime on Sunday and Monday and sometimes Thursday night. So yeah, I'm tired, because what happens? What happens, Mafia, when the game doesn't get over till 11:30 and you're frustrated for the last 3 hours and then you lose at the last second? You have a tendency to not be able to sleep. So when that 4 o'clock alarm goes off and you probably got an hour, maybe an hour and a half worth of sleep, you tend to be a little tired. You tend to be a little grumpy. But it is what it is. So let's dive into this game. What do we want to say about it? Now, here's the thing, a little peek behind the curtain. I split this podcast up recording-wise. So the first 2 T's I recorded on Saturday. And then this part, obviously, I had to wait till the game was over. And so now it is Monday. And I have had not necessarily 24 hours. I've had about, I don't know, what freaking time is it? I've had about 15 hours to kind of break down this game and how I feel about the whole thing. And frustrated is a word, but here's the thing. I love this team. I love this team, and I don't want to come on here and I don't want to be so negative and I don't want to blast each and every player. But at the same time, we need to be held accountable. And so I was thinking about what exactly I wanted to say. When I watch these games, I have a little notepad with me and I just take a bunch of notes. And this is what I wrote at halftime. When the score was 6-3, this is what I wrote. I wrote, worst half of football in the entire season. Sloppy, undisciplined, no rhythm, too much extra nonsense going on. 8 penalties, 2 turnovers. That's what I wrote at halftime. And that just about sums up the whole game. The score was 6-3. 6-3 at halftime. It's funny. I was thinking about this. Right before kickoff, you had Chirico and Collinsworth, and they're, talking about these two teams, and they're going back and forth about this, that, and the other, and they're talking about the Bills, right? And what did he say about the Bills? He said, everybody likes to watch this team. They're fun. They're exciting. They're entertaining. Tell me, Mafia, was anyone entertained by anything that happened in the first 30 minutes of that football game? That was one of the worst halves of football I've seen, not just by the Bills, but by anyone who played yesterday or this season. That was a terrible first half of football. So yes, sloppy, undisciplined. You never see the Bills commit mistakes as far as turnovers. I know a lot of the people, and myself included, as I'm watching this game, I'm thinking, oh, the defense this, the defense that. Yeah, the defense did make some plays, and we're going to get to that in a second. But the score was 6-3 at halftime. Think about that for a second. We are averaging 31 points a game so far. 31 points a game. And at halftime, we score 3 points, and we give the ball over to them numerous times. We come out, and what was the other thing I wrote? Too much extra nonsense going on. The inside handoff to Dawson Knox that was fumbled, he didn't even know he was going to get the ball. The guy the play is designed for, he's like, what the hell are you giving me the ball for? This is crazy. An end around with the second, possibly third tight end on the team, you're going to do an inside handoff to? No wonder he fumbled. And then I'm watching as some of the play calls coming in, and I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh my gosh. It's frustrating because, like I just said, I love these players. Dawson Knox, one of my favorite players. Josh Allen, one of my favorite players. But if you listen to his post-game comments, what did he say? Josh Allen, the quarterback of this team, and sometimes these post-game press conferences, the Sean McDermott, you don't learn anything because they don't say anything. And it's so frustrating. Like, I don't want to watch some of these games and their sideline reporters because they talk to these coaches after the half or right before the half, either coming or going from the locker room. It doesn't really freaking matter. But they don't say anything. They say the same 30-second sound clip each and every game, and it's maddening. But Josh Allen, after this game, he says it was a piss-poor offense. And that's exactly right. So, yeah, we can talk about the defense here in a minute. But the offense, what are you doing? Josh was forcing throws. People are dropping balls. They're off. Like, you had Josh Palmer with formation penalties. And I'm like, y'all look like this was preseason game number 1. And when I watch other teams play, it's so easy to see the teams that are disciplined, the teams that are focused, the teams that are ready to go. I don't know what was going on in the first 30 minutes of this game, but the offense looked like they had just met each other 15 minutes prior to starting this thing. And super frustrating to watch. Outside of Dalton Kincaid, who had his greatest game as a Buffalo Bill, so awesome, props to him. He balled out. Outside of him, who do we want to talk about? We want to talk about Keon? Yeah, he caught a touchdown, but he had a huge, costly fumble. And we're just chucking up 50-50 balls to Keon Coleman. I love Keon Coleman. I think he can be great, but he's getting no separation. So out of desperation, Josh is just chucking it to Keon, hoping somebody can make a freaking play, because clearly no one is getting open. The only way we can get Shakir the ball is if it's 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. This whole idea in the offseason that we're going to go sign Josh Palmer, and the key to his game is he gets separation immediately off the line of scrimmage, immediately off the ball, and he's going to be able to separate. How many catches does he have so far? I don't even know that he's in the game. He caught one ball yesterday, and I was like, holy cow, there he is. We spent a lot of money to sign him. What, we get a 3-year deal for Josh Palmer? And he's non-existent. he's supposed to be the separator. He's supposed to be the guy that we can go to, because the Patriots cornerbacks were legit. But this everybody eats scenario that we're all we're all trying to toe the line and think that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, led by Joe Brady. Well, I'm not so sure that it's great, because yes, we've gotten away with not making mistakes and we can hang on and win these games. And what happens when we don't make mistakes? We score 31 points a game. 31 points a game, and then we go back and we're like, oh, God, there were some points of this game where the offense took 2 quarters off. They went in vacation mode in the middle of the game. I've talked about this before. Each and every game, the offense takes significant chunks of the game off. But the difference is they don't make mistakes. And then last night, we had the perfect collision of crap happen, right? So not only did the offense take chunks of the game off, but they also made costly turnovers. So when I'm walking into halftime going, we are only down by 3 points. The defense we want to rail on for the last 4 weeks, only gave up 6 points. And at the end of the game, they only gave up 23. If your defense hangs a 23 spot on the board, you should win those games. If you're the Buffalo Bills and you have Josh Allen, you should win those games. With James Cook, who is one of the top 2 running backs in the league so far this year through the first 4 games, I don't know. He couldn't get going. The offensive line couldn't get going. It was penalty after penalty. And we want to talk, well, the refs. No, look at the game. I mean, look, this game was not fun. There's nothing entertaining about this game whatsoever. And then you add in the ref fiascos, and we want to talk about, they were biased against the Bills. At the end of the game, the Bills, I think, had, 12 or 11 penalties, and the Patriots had 8 or 9. So it wasn't that far off. The Patriots just took a while to get caught up, but they were making stupid, costly penalties towards the end of the game that almost had them lose. So we want to talk about Hockley and how he wants to be the star of the show, and the ref squad, they want to be, the focus of Sunday Night Football. I could see that to a point, but the Bills were making stupid errors that they usually don't make, and they looked like a undisciplined, sloppy mess is what that game was. It was an undisciplined, sloppy mess. Yeah, this one's rough. It's not because we lost, but think about it this way. Here's the other way I look at it. The New England Patriots came out with a chip on their shoulder. So Mike Vrabel, now while he was kind of annoying me with every play, it seemed like he was barking at the refs, wanting them to do something. And I'm like, well, how much more do you want, dude? In the first half, you already got 8 penalties called against the opposition. How much more can you ask for from the refs? But he was just getting on my nerves. Anyway, they came out ready to play. And then Drake May, he played just about as perfect as you could ask a second-year quarterback. Now, he didn't throw or run for any touchdowns, but he played great. He avoided the rush. He extended plays, and he constantly found the open man, who was none other than proverbial cast-off that everyone wanted to go. We got to run this guy out of town. Stephon Diggs was the best wide receiver on the field last night, folks. Got to tell you, Bills, Patriots, don't matter. Stephon Diggs was the best wide receiver on the field. 146 yards receiving for Stephon Diggs. And we all 2 years ago were like, oh, this guy sucks. He's a malcontent. He doesn't want to be here. Run him out of town. He's slow. He's this, he's that. Well, he didn't look too slow last night. And I don't know what the deal is with New England, but he's catching the ball. And then imagine this, folks. He's actually running with the ball. That's something we didn't see in the last few years of Buffalo. How many times remember we get the ball to Diggs and he just goes down? And here he's running all over the field. So the whole thing was frustrating. But here's the thing. 146 yards to Diggs. He played great. You got to tip your cap to him. Drake May played great. Those two played nearly a perfect game. So they played perfect. They got 3 turnovers from this Bills team. The Bills had 11 or 12 penalties in the game, almost a full football field's worth of penalties. And the Patriots still only won by 3. So maybe we all need to pump the brakes about how, the rivalry's back. I mean, I'm already seeing, the New England Patriots are back. And Drake May's the answer. Yeah, they played really good. And I'm not going to take anything away from them. They beat us last night. But we also beat ourselves because it was a sloppy, undisciplined, no rhythm, bunch of nonsense that we put on the field last night. And I'm hearing stuff like, the jerseys are terrible, burn them, never wear them again. Get out of here with that. Those jerseys were fire, by the way. The whiteout looked amazing. I wish I was there. That looked awesome. It was an awesome sight to see. Ya boys, the Bills, my boys, they didn't come to play. Outside of Kincaid, I mean, when I'm writing down notes that Connor McGovern is getting multiple penalties called on him in a game, when was the last time you ever heard that happen? And then I'm writing stuff like we're handing the ball to Ray Davis in key critical points of the game. Ray Davis that hasn't done jack squat this whole year. And I'm looking around, I'm like, where's James Cook? He literally is in for one play and now he's going and sitting on the sidelines? Oh, man. I don't know. Joey Bosa, I've kind of hung my hat on a solid Joey Bosa start to the season. I thought he's played well, and I got some heat for that, and that's okay. I welcome differing opinions because maybe you all see stuff that I don't see, and vice versa, and that's okay. But last night, he was non-existent, folks, non-existent. I'm like, where the hell is 97? Where's Joey Bosa? Because he was trash. And the first quarter, Greg Rousseau was a beast, and I've been calling for him to show up. So he shows up, and Bosa disappears into Orchard Park somewhere. I don't know where he went. Maybe he's down getting wings somewhere. I don't know what was happening. We can't get these guys all to gel and come together at the same time. And of course, the injuries. So the whole week, we thought Ed Oliver was going to play. He's a scratch. And then we get Milano back. And what happens? Milano doesn't play the second half because he tweaks his pec muscle again. I mean, is this guy just lifting too much? What are we doing? Maybe do some yoga? I don't know. Cryogenics chamber or whatever the hell you call those things. I don't know. Ice bath. I don't know what to do. Oxygen deprivation tank, whatever. I don't know. And it's sad because Milano is one of my favorite players to watch on the field. When he is on and he is primed, there's nothing better. One of my favorite clips all time is him just leveling Mike White on the Jets, literally folding him in half. It's one of my all-time favorite hits ever in the history of football. And so it's sad when I look at these guys like Milano who can't he can't get back on the field. He can't stay on the field. That's frustrating. That sucks as a Bills fan. Trey White, back in his heyday, Trey White was the freaking man. And anyone that said he wasn't is fooling themselves. But guess what? Trey White is a shell of himself right now. And it's sad to watch. But who do we have? We don't have anyone else. Dorian Strong is hurt. Dorian Williams, he was supposed to be up and coming. I thought he was going to be the next up, but he played terrible last week and now he's hurt. But Dorian Strong, the next guy up in the cornerback room, he is on IR now. We might not see him again the whole year. Now he has to go see a neck specialist. That's never good. So the whole thing's frustrating. I try not to be too down on this game because, as I said, literally the Patriots played between their wide receiver and quarterback combo. They played the perfect game, and they still were gifted, maybe not. It depends how you want to look at it. 11 to 12 penalties on the Bills, and the Bills gave them the ball 3 extra times, and it took them a last-second 52-yard field goal to win this game. Y'all want to go tell me the Patriots are that much better? Okay. I mean, maybe I will eat my words come the end of the season. Maybe they will overcome the Bills and win the division, but I don't think so. I just think this was the perfect storm of crap, and the Bills just sucked last night. Flat out sucked. And it sucks because I had to stay up till 11:30 and got no sleep watching this nonsense. And we lost our best linebacker. I mean, you want to tell me Bernard's better than Milano at this point? I don't know. Some of these guys, I just think our depth is non-existent. I talked about waiting for reinforcements week 6. Well, we're going to need way more reinforcements. Brandon Beane, time to get to work, my friend. Time to get to work. Maybe trade one of these guys. You got Curtis Samuel. You got Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, we brought him in. He was inactive. He's got, 12 catches on the whole year? Maybe we trade one of these guys for somebody that can help us defensively. I don't know. It's so frustrating. But you tip the cap. Drake May, he played great. Stephon Diggs, he torched us. And it wasn't just Trey White. So I know I just dogged on Trey White, who can't seem to catch cold now. It used to be back in the day, you had the thought that there's the hope of an interception. He's playing so far off these guys, or he gets beat so quickly off the line that he's not even in the play. And there's multiple plays I was watching last night where the receiver or the running back would catch a ball out of the flat, and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't even see a defender on the screen. And then here comes Shaq Thompson flying around and makes the play 5 yards later, and I'm just like, where the hell is the defensive players on this team? I don't know. maybe this is a wake-up call, because maybe a positive out of this, we don't have to talk about potentially going undefeated, because I didn't really want to have that conversation. But we got this turd of a loss out of the way pretty early. Now we have just over a week. We have, 8 days to think about this one and prepare for Atlanta, because Atlanta is going to be sitting at home. They've had an extra week rest. They've already had their bye week. They're resting up, and they have probably one of the best running backs and weapons in the whole league. Plus, they got Drake London. They got a good tight end over there. I mean, they got some weapons. Now, Penix is, he's hot or cold. He's played great, and he's played so far this year. So you never know. But I don't think that's going to be a cakewalk. That's a winnable game, but we got to wake up. We can't have that sloppy, undisciplined, out of rhythm mess going on anymore. So let's get that out of our systems. Let's come back at this next week with a clean slate, and let's get back on the winning track. Let's get another win in the ledger book. Let's get back to 5-1 and get to the bye week, because we need some rest, we need some reinforcements, and we need to regroup here. So I don't think all is lost, Mafia. Keep your head up. Those are my thoughts. I know it's frustrating, but especially coming off no sleep. I try to be honest with you. I try to tell you what I see, what I feel, and that's where I'm at. So a little bit of housekeeping. I am going to try to do the Game 6 preview against the Falcons this week. I know it's not till Monday night, but I am going out of town at the end of this week. I'm hoping I can get it up probably Sunday. So if you're looking for that, it might come out later than normal. I usually try to get it out the Friday if it's a Sunday game or whatnot, but because it's a Monday game, I have a little extra time. I might not get it done until later Sunday, maybe possibly even Monday morning. So stick with me, but I will do the best I can for that. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap up this episode of the 3Ts podcast. If you have enjoyed this episode or any other episode of the 3Ts, do me a favor, hit me that like, hit me that follow, share it with someone you know, whether they are a fellow Mafia member. Stick with me, Mafia. We got this. Whether they're a fellow card collector or someone who just loves the wrestling, it doesn't matter. Trying to grow this thing one episode at a time. Hook your boy up, help me out, share it with somebody you know who would appreciate this thing and help me build this thing together. And as always, I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.